All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this info session regarding the Atlanta Black Expo, the 2025 Atlanta Black Expo, where we're going to be talking about the food and beverage participation. Kevin, welcome. For those of you that are on this call, that are watching this live, you will actually be able to ask questions during it. But those of you that are actually watching the video of this, obviously you won't be able to ask questions. But if you do have any questions, you will be able to reply to an email. We are recording this and we are going to send this out to the same list of people who we sent this invitation to. So with that, you will have the opportunity to hit reply to that email if you have any questions with that. But again, hopefully during this call, this will answer most of the questions that you have. All right. So for those of you that don't know, my name is Corey Network King Moore. The company is Pro Networker, and we are the producers of the Atlanta Black Expo. And then I'll let Chef Ashley introduce herself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Chef Ashley Keys. I am with Choices, and I am excited to be helping with the manufacturing and leading the hospitality initiative for the Atlanta Black Expo.
Awesome, awesome. So with that, for those of you that do choose to participate in the 2025 Atlanta Black Expo, you will be working with myself as well as Ashley, but more so Ashley. Ashley is the chairperson of our food and beverage aspect of it. So with that, again, a lot of the questions that you'd have and the interaction that you have will be with her. So today, what we are going to be discussing, and again, for those of you that are just joining us, as we go through this, if you have any questions, definitely make sure that you put it in the chat. Chef Ashley is going to be watching the chat to see if we do have any questions that's going on there. For those of you that were able to make it on, we truly appreciate you taking the time. If, again, for whatever reason, you cannot stay for this whole thing, that is fine. We are recording this, which I will be sending out this recording directly after this to everybody that got on. Definitely make sure that everybody mutes themselves, and I will open it up for questions during a certain segment. But again, if you have any questions, make sure you just go ahead and put it in the chat. All right. So with that being said, we are really, really, really excited about what is coming up for the Atlanta Black Expo for this year, for 2025. With that, let me see here. I'm going to share my screen. All right. So for those people that don't know, the Atlanta Black Expo 2025 is coming February 22nd and 23rd. We will be at the Georgia World Congress Center this year. We are moving from the Cobb Galleria where we were last year. Just again, little brief history. Atlanta hasn't had a true Black Expo to where all businesses can participate since a consistent one since Persisters only that ended about 10 years ago. We picked up the reins of the Atlanta Black Expo concept. We didn't create this, but the concept of it 2 years ago. So our first event was in 2023. We were at the Cobb Galleria. We had 113 exhibitors, about 1,000 attendees. So very, very successful event. We did it again this year in 2024 in February. We had 120 exhibitors, which was actually our goal, and we had a little better than 1,000 people that came out to that event. So with that, next year in 2025, we are upgrading where we are now taking the event again from the Cobb Galleria to the Georgia World Congress Center. What does this mean? At the Cobb Galleria, we had 36,000 square feet of space. We used it all. This next one, we will have 105,000 square feet. So literally a little less than 3 times the size. Because of that, we are adding an additional day, and we're adding so many other things to this event. So again, you guys will be hearing about that actually today. So again, here are the details. You can go to our website at atlblackexpo.com, which most of you guys should be familiar with that. If you have not seen our video, our recap video, you can get to our video from our website. There's a place that says click it, or you can go to YouTube and type in Atlanta Black Expo. You see the video. If you have not seen said video, or if you have not been to any one of our expos, definitely implore you to go watch the video so you can actually see the size of this and what we're actually doing. So in 2025, our goal is to have 150 exhibitors, which I can go ahead and tell you now, we're going to surpass that. We already right now have 65 tables, actually 67, something like that, sold, not including the food piece. So we're definitely going to do more than that. We're aiming right now between probably 175 and 225, something like that. The attendance goal is 3,000 to 5,000 people for this time period. So again, we're feeling very good about that as well. Some of the event experiences that we're going to have, obviously doing the vendor showcase. One thing that is different from the 2025 event versus our past two is that we will have food and beverages at the event. The last two events, we were not allowed to do that based on venue policies. But this year, 2025, we will have those things. So we have decided to add a food competition. There will also be food tastings. We're going to be doing a Black-owned liquor tasting in competition. We're obviously having workshops at the event, fashion show. We're looking at doing some movie screenings for people who are filmmakers here in Atlanta. We have our Kids Business Expo, speed networking. We're actually having international trade. So for people who want to do business internationally, looking at having an activation regarding that and much more. So the agenda of the actual event itself would end up being, it is Saturday and Sunday, but the Saturday is only from 6 to 10 p.m. So it's a VIP reception. So again, we have VIP tickets, and that will be for those people there. We're going to be doing our opening ceremonies. We're going to be doing some networking. That's where we're going to have our food, beverage, and liquor tastings, as well as that competition, which we're going to talk about a little bit today. On Sunday is the main event. So with that, from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., that's our vendor showcase, workshop, speed networking, all those other activations, and doing food, beverage tastings from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. All right. Now, the tickets, as far as the event is concerned, we have 4 different tickets. The smallest ticket is $15, which means we do not do any free tickets to this event. Everybody has to pay, which we are happy about that, because we do not want, there's just a certain number of people who are just looking for free stuff, and they come and they're not looking to spend money. No, the beauty about this event is that everybody that comes, they are spending money to come spend money with Black businesses. So we're very excited about that. For everybody, for everything else we have, so again, we have our basic ticket, which is we have our basic ticket, which is $15, which just gets somebody entry into the expo. We have our next ticket, which is our premium, which is $35. With that, they get the entry, but this is the one where people now get to participate in the workshops and things of that nature, as well as the food tasting. So they're actually able to get 10 food and drink tastings, which we'll talk about in a little bit. The 2 VIP tickets, we have our foodie experience, and then we have the ultimate experience, which is at $65. They're able to come Saturday and Sunday, but on Saturday, again, is that private reception, the food competitions, the tastings. They'll get access to the VIP lounge on Sunday, and then they'll get 30 food and drink tasting tickets on Sunday, and then the ultimate gets at $95. They're actually going to get the liquor tastings on Saturday with everything else, and be able to get that says 30, but that actually should be 60 food and drink tickets on Sunday. So that is how the actual tickets are concerned. Now, why this is important that we're talking about the tickets is this. So one of the major changes, or not even change, but policies regarding the venue that we're using, which is common with a lot of these larger spaces, is that they do not allow any outside vendors to sell food on their premises. It is not allowed. You have to be a vendor inside of them, which is the whole process in order to be able to do it. Now, typically when it comes to vendors that are going to participate in this event, your goal is to make money, right? So now you're thinking to yourself, hey, if we can't sell on premise, then how are we going to make money? Well, the answer to that is we have what's called a revenue share program for ticket sales that we're going to be offering to our vendors. Now, we already do something like this, which is a rebate program for our regular vendors, but though the rebate program is capped, the revenue share program is not capped. And what that means is a person who is sharing in the revenue, we're going to talk about how this works, can actually make an unlimited amount of money, okay? Which we are very, very, very excited to be able to offer to you guys, because again, you have a way to really make quite a bit of money before the event even starts, all right? So how does that work? So let's just say that you are a vendor at the event, and let's just say that you make cookies, let's just say. What's going to happen is we're going to give you, and I'm going to show you this, we're going to give you a flyer that has your picture on it, depending on how you participate in the event, but to the very least, it'll actually have your logo and it'll have your discount code. So like for instance, in our last year's event, this person was able to get a $5 discount code. This was their code. They had their picture of their product on there. The same thing with this, had their picture of their product, had their logo, and all of that. So this is how this is going to work. Again, this is from our last event, so the flyer will look a little bit different, but you get the point. So with that, you will get this flyer. You will then send out said flyer to your database of people, letting them know about this event. Now, here's the beauty, and that you are going to be doing tastings at this event. So we wanted to create a situation that's very similar to what you should have been doing or should still be doing in your business anyway, which is having tastings for your business. And what you typically have to do is find a venue and then figure out your menu and then start inviting these people to your tasting. Well, it's the same thing that you're going to do here, is invite them to your tasting. They will have the option of either paying $15, $35, $65, or $95, which obviously we talked about up here on what they get. With that, they are going to get $5 off of whatever ticket that they purchase. So let's say they use the code, cookie, they'll get $5 off. With that $5, if they paid the 15, then they would pay 10. If they paid the 35, they pay 30. If they 65, so on and so forth. With that, you are actually going to get 100% of that $15 sale, which is a total of $10, or the $35, which is the total of that. If they purchase a $65 ticket, then you will actually get 50% of that, which would end up being $30. And if they purchase a $95 ticket, then you get 50% of that, which is $45. Okay. So essentially, these are the prices, the revenues that you are going to receive for every ticket that's sold. Now, let me tell you why this is important. Is again, typically when you are doing your own tasting, you are required to get all the people there and stuff like that. And they are essentially coming specifically just for you. For this event, you're actually leveraging the whole experience that we're having. So they're not just coming for you, they're coming to experience what we like to coin the Black Business Super Bowl, okay? So with that, it's going to be a larger draw. So there's going to be just more people that are interested in it. So for you, again, you're not going to be selling vacuum cleaners. It's a pretty easy sell to tell somebody, listen, would you like to come to the Atlanta Black Expo? I have discounted tickets and you can come see me, as well as try foods and try vendors from all over Atlanta. So again, not going to be a tough sell at all. With that, you got your discount code. Now, we have used these codes since inception of our business 14 years ago. They work, and they work for people who actually work them. So for instance, in our 2024 event that we did this past February, we had 188 codes used from vendors. So out of that, there's 49 vendors that actually used the code. Now, we had 120 vendors and 49 of them actually did. Now, here's the thing. We set up a rebate program for people to where they can qualify for a free table or get money back. We put the tools out there. Now, whether somebody actually takes advantage of it or not is completely up to them. But we have the tools out there. So out of the 49 vendors at the 188 codes used, it averaged out to be about 4 codes per vendor. Now, our largest one was one of our large organizations. They had 46 codes. So obviously they're a larger organization. But we actually had our largest vendor, just a regular vendor person, had 10 codes used, and which garnered them $140 back off the price of their table and things of that nature. So I say that to you guys to say that this stuff works. In our Taste Urban event, and I'll give you actually a great example. In our Taste Urban event, we have one of our vendors who participated in 9 of our events. The price that she would have had to pay was $200 per. So with that, she actually only paid $200 one time, and all the other times she had been having people use her code, so she's been getting a free event the whole time. So I say that to you guys to say that this is definitely available for you. You just have to be able to choose to actually do it. Okay. I'm going to talk about the projections, and then we're going to open it up for questions with this. Okay. So based on this event, I am projecting that the average food vendor, would be able to sell 30 tickets. And that 30 tickets would garner them about $770, which that is made up of 8 people doing the $15 ticket, 15 people doing of the $35 ticket, which is going to be the most amount. Most people are going to fall into this $35 ticket. You may have about 5 people that do the $65 ticket, and you're probably only going to have 2, maybe more people to do the $95 ticket. But again, this is about an average of what this would look like. And then that would be the money that's actually coming back here. For our regular vendors, depending on how much they invest in, it's a rebate program for them. So if their vendor table is only $350, they can only make $350. With you guys are not on a rebate program. You're on a revenue share program. And what that means is there's no cap to how much you can make. So you can make $100, you can make $770, you can make $7,007. So again, it really depends on whatever you decide to actually do with this. Okay. And before I get into the last piece, and then I'm going to open it up for questions, here are the investments. And I'm going to tell you about the investments, and then we're going to open it up for some questions. Okay. So if you are interested in participating, you have 2 options. You can either invest as just the actual vendor itself, and then you'll be able to choose what zone that you're going to be in, which I'm going to show you guys that in a little bit, but just know that zone 1 is closer to the door. Our regular tables actually, let's start with zone 3. Our regular tables for zone 3, which is furthest from the door, start at $350. Food vendors would only pay $100. If you wanted zone 2, those are at $500, but you guys will only pay $150. Zone 1 is at $750, but you would only pay $200. All right. So your price for your actual vendor table has been dramatically reduced, and the reason for that is because you will not be able to sell at the event. But where you're going to be able to make your money is through the ticket sales that are uncapped before the actual event. Okay. We're also doing a food competition, and I'm not going to talk about that right now. We're going to circle back to that, but this price here actually includes, so let's say you said, hey, I want to be in zone 3 and I want to do the food competition. We're now it's really $250 more for each of these. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is pause. And Ashley, do we have any questions, or if anybody has any questions on this so far, go ahead and unmute yourself, so that we can go ahead and address some questions.
Hi, good morning. This is Yolande Horn-Payne with
Good
Lady
morning.
Moss Boss, All Things
Yep.
CMOS.
Yep.
I just saw your email, so I didn't get on until halfway through this. So I
Yeah.
have no clue what you're talking about. So is there a different time that I can understand, how this program is going to work to know if I would like to participate in it?
Yeah, so we are recording this.
Okay.
And the email that you got this morning,
Mm-hmm.
because I think you just sent us, you just inquired with us. I'm going to be sending out the replay of this directly after this. So anybody who, and again, there's several people who didn't get this or who's not on right now, will be able to watch the whole recording and then be able to figure out whether you'd like to participate or not.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions before we move forward? And actually, is there any questions in the chat?
There are not at this moment.
No. Okay, real good. So nobody has any questions on this.
All right, this is Kevin. How you doing? Hey,
Kevin,
Chef
doing
Ashley,
well.
how you doing? Good. Now, if we've already paid for the fees online before all the changes take place, I guess we'll just talk to you guys at some point about how we modify those
That's correct.
payment. Okay, cool.
Yep. Yep.
Awesome. Thank you.
Real good. Thank you for that. All right. So if we don't have any questions, we're going to move forward. But again, and then we're going to circle back around to this because I believe, and this is my belief, that if a person really leverages all the tools that we're providing, that this piece here is a very big deal. And I want to make sure that everybody's understanding this. Being able to do a revenue share is unheard of in the events industry. Number one, is unheard of. But what we wanted to do was to make sure that we had a certain experience at the event, which is food. We specifically, and I'll go ahead and make sure that you guys understand like how of an important piece that you play. When it comes to most events, people are always asking about, hey, what's the draw? And most events of this size, the draw is entertainment. What celebrity is going to be there, whatever the case is. We are not doing that. And we're not doing that for a very specific reason. We don't want that entertainer to be the draw. We want the business to be the draw. Okay. We want the business. We want you guys to be the draw. But what we learned last year was that even though we had a little over 1,000 people at the event, that it wasn't as large of a draw, like the businesses wasn't as large of a draw as we wanted them to be. But what we didn't have last year was food. And those of you that are in the food industry, you know that food is a draw. So we are going to be one of the largest events to where people can actually sample food at the event. And especially when you're talking not just food, but an abundance of food, number one, in a variety of food, number two, and free food, number three, that's a draw. That is a big draw. So because you guys are such a pivotal part of this event, we wanted to make sure that you guys didn't feel like you were the ones being sacrificed. With that, that's where the revenue share came in. So realistically, how we pointed this out, you guys have an opportunity again to make, you're definitely 9 times out of 10, you're going to make more revenue per person than you would if they were coming up to you at the event and purchasing. Again, the smallest one is $10, the highest one is $45. So I don't know if any of you guys are selling a product where one client would spend that amount of money, but with that, this is at a higher profit margin when it comes to this. And again, you're actually able to make your money beforehand. So again, you definitely have the opportunity to make quite a bit of money. And the other reason why we really wanted to do this, for those of you that have participated in Taste Urban, we said with Taste Urban, yes, you can sell at the event, but that's not the goal. The goal is for you to actually talk to people, let them taste your food, and then try to get future bookings with them. That's the goal, okay? And the reason for that is 90% of the time when I go to events and I spend money with the food vendors there, they get my money that day. But what they don't get is my information so that they can get money from me tomorrow's, okay? So what happens is, and we notice this with Taste Urban, when vendors were taking the time at the event and just collecting money at the event, they were spending less time talking to people about future endeavors. What that means is you're getting today money, but tomorrow you're going to be in the same problem, which is I need to get more money. Versus if you take that piece away and you're actually having conversations for tomorrow, getting these bookings, getting their information so that you can do slow drip campaigns on them and stuff like that. That's what people should be really focused on. But again, I know that this is not what most exhibitors are used to doing, okay? This is why we're having this info session, number one, and two, we're gonna be having trainings on this. So just know that we are gonna be talking to you about how with this model, you will actually make more money than you would if you were just coming to an event and setting up and selling, okay? So again, I just want to make sure that for those of you that are on, if you have any questions on this, that you go ahead and ask, because again, we very much so understand that this is a new thing in the market, but the way that we have it set up, you will actually make money and you have the opportunity to actually not just make short-term money, but both. You're making the today money, which is based on the ticket sales. And now at the event, all you're worried about is doing the tastings and having conversation with people for pre-orders and things of that nature. All right. So we're going to move forward. Again, I showed you guys what the flyers look like and all of that. Great. We talked about the different zones, which I am going to bring up a screen to show what the zones look like and all of that. As far as the business categories or the categories are concerned for the competition, we're looking at savory, which would be caterers and chefs. Another category, sweets, bakers and sweets, restaurants, beverages, and then liquor. So again, there'd be 10 businesses per category. So as far as the competition is concerned, 50 businesses will be able to participate. Now, do you have to do the competition if you're an exhibitor? No, you do not. So you have the choice, but we are only accepting 50 businesses to do the competition and only 10 in these categories. The prize money as of right now is in each category, there's going to be 3 winners. First, second, and third. First prize will get $1,000 cash for their business. Second prize, $500, and third prize, $250. All right. So again, that's what the competition looks like. With that being said, Chef Ashley, if you can talk to them about the requirements.
Yes. All right. Good. Welcome everybody. I'm excited to talk to you about the requirements. So we have some requirements for food and non-alcoholic drinks. We want to make sure that we're keeping everyone safe. So we're asking everyone to have a Serve Safe certification in the owner's name. You'll submit this all through your registration. We'll take PDFs and pictures. And if you're not Serve Safe certified, please reach out so we can get you connected to a proctor so you can take the course and the exam. Our goal with all of these is to help better our businesses and protect our businesses so that we can make sure we're doing business the most effective and efficient way in the safest way possible so we can succeed in the long term. Business insurance and or business license. Again, those are 2 critical things that you need to make sure that your business is running smoothly and to protect yourself from individual liabilities that could happen. And then your business insurance and your if you don't have business insurance, we can connect you to some great people to help you do that. Also, you have to submit a COI within 15 to 30 days before the event. So yes, you're sending us a proof of your insurance, but before the event starts, we're going to ask for a COI that your insurance company will send us, or you will send us from your insurance company that will cover the Georgia World Congress Center and the Atlanta Black Business Expo. So those will be submitted to us 15 to 30 days before the event. We're also asking for your logo, your website. Everyone should have a website. Don't just put everything in social media again, because Meta owns those pictures. All your reels, all those graphics are owned by Meta at that point when you post them. So we want to also make sure we have a website. And then your social media handles, we want pictures of your products, no more than 5. We hope it's something that you're going to offer on that day. But if it's not, submit 5 different pictures of your product so we can choose the best for your graphics and for social media marketing when we're putting tagging your business. And then let us know the items you plan to bring. We're only allowing 2 businesses per category. So if we have 2 cake companies, we're gonna ask you, are you doing pound cake or are you doing layer cakes? We want to make sure we have enough of every brand, but we do not want to have too many, everyone selling cake or everyone giving cake tastings. If you decorate cookies or if you're just a cookie baker, that's 2 different categories that we're going to look at. So let us know what you plan to bring and sample. Those are the only things that you'll be able to sample is what you submit on the form and what you're approved to submit. So yes, you can have, if you do lemonades also, that's great, but if you did not submit for a beverage, we're not going to allow you to do it as a sweets. So that's just one category. We're going to make sure that everyone's sticking to what they've been approved to bring, so we don't have to cross branding. And then we're going to talk about sample requirements. The Georgia World Congress Center is given us specific amounts that we're allowed to bring. So on Saturday from 6 to 10, our grand opening night, we're going to have our opening ceremonies, beverages. We need you to bring 750 samples for our guests, and that can be up to a half a cup or 4 ounces or less for beverages. And then for food, it's going to be 2 ounces. So and the Georgia World Congress Center is giving us these amounts, so we're asking you to stick to it so that we don't get in trouble and you guys don't get in trouble also. So we're asking you to stick to those, and it's 750 units. We will not provide cups, we won't provide silverware, we're not providing that stuff. So you guys will also have to provide those items when you're doing your tastings and samples. So just so you're planning out and your tastings and things like that, you want to make sure you have those items, napkins. And then for Sunday, we're limiting our tasting window. The event is from 10 to 5, but we're going to limit our tasting window from 12 to 3. So that helps with breakdown and cleanup to 1,500 samples of, again, the 4-ounce beverage samples. That includes your ice in that 4 ounces. And then the 2-ounce, again, food samples for 1,500. So we want to make sure we have enough tastings that you don't run out in that 3-hour period, because then, that's not gonna be fun for people. And it kind of also makes your business look like you weren't prepared. So make sure you're making sure you're prepared for those serving amounts. If you have any questions regarding that stuff, please let us know. Again, we're looking forward to having you guys be part of this experience. And the competition will have plenty of judges that are coming from some of our sponsors, corporate judges, some Atlanta's Black Chefs Network. So we're going to start pulling those people. But again, the requirements are here. They're here to help better your business and to make sure that, everyone's protected all around. So if you have any questions, I know like the Georgia World Congress Center has said like no sternos, no live flames. So that's one thing we can start talking about. We will have to purchase ice unless you bring it with you. So those are 2 things. And like, again, there will be no refrigeration. So that all has to be thought about when you're preparing and submitting what you want to provide for your tastings. So that if you want to, electricity, all those things are at a cost. So we just want you to let you know that now, so that as you're preparing for what you think you want your booth to look like and want to serve for samples, you're prepared.
Quick question. This is Yolande again. So with the competition, am I to understand that there are 2 different staging areas? So like if I decide to do my booth at the event and then I'm doing the competition, there are 2 different locations?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I have to have somebody manning both locations?
Well, no. Let me back up to that. So on Saturday, Saturday is load in for all the vendors, okay, for everybody. And I'm in the process right now of, I'm going to pull up the screen so you guys can kind of see what this looks like, okay? But on Saturday is the load in, so people will be able to, you know, do their load in and stuff like that. And then Saturday night is the actual reception time, okay?
Okay.
So what's going to happen is, and come on here, what's going to happen is the reception is going to be in a different area. So technically and I'm about to again share my screen so you guys can see this. On Saturday, there will be 2 different sections, I guess you could say.
Okay.
But you're not going to have a full-blown one in each of them. Okay. So let me kind of show you what this looks like. Come on. Get this out the way. All right. So we are going to be, so this is the entirety of one of the halls, Hall A. We are going to be in this hall here, which is A3, okay? People are going to walk in here. These are going to be where all the exhibits are right here. We have access to these as well, but they're air walls that these are going to be up. Right here is where we're going to actually be doing the reception Saturday night. So what that means is any vendor that's a food vendor, their main table is going to be in here, which is going to be available on Sunday, but you will also be in here for Saturday night. So essentially, you would set up your table, you would figure out where your table is here and here. You won't put a lot of stuff on here, but you would actually put your main stuff here for Saturday night. And then for Sunday, this is going to now go away. You'll just now put all the stuff that was on this table back on your main table. So you will not have to have 2 tables going on simultaneously. Does that make sense? Does that answer that question?
Yes, yes, yes.
Wonderful. Thank you for the question. Another clarity point for the competition, for the food competition, we will accept 1 category for the food competition, meaning we will not have 2 cookie people for the food competition. We could have 2 cookie people that are on the main floor. One does one type of cookies and the other does the other type of cookies. But as far as the competition is concerned, there's only going to be one person that does cookies, one person that does cake, one person that does this. The reason for that is if we're having a competition of 10 people, if we allow multiples, then we could potentially only have 5 different types of items, which we don't want to do that. We want to have 10 different items. So again, say that to you to say, for those people who are interested in doing the food competition, you would want to let us know early and to go ahead and make your payments and stuff like that so that you can lock in your thing of what you do, okay? Also, one thing that we didn't, and let me back up as well. This is a new concept that we're doing. So with that, this is a new element that we're doing at the event. We currently have 130 some days until the event. So we have time, but we are working very diligently with getting all the information as far as what we can do and what we can't do as an event organizers, and then what you guys can do and what you can't do and all of that, okay? So I say that to you to say this. 1, be patient with this because again, this is the first time that we are doing it like this. Obviously, you guys see in our work, I mean, we're very capable of doing whatever we put our minds to. But with that, we are still working on all the logistics of this because this thing there's a lot of logistics that's going on. So we ask for everybody to be patient as we're going through this and to make sure that when we have info sessions, when we have stuff like this, if you can make it, great. If you can't make it, make sure you watch that video in there because the one thing that is going to happen, which I can guarantee you guys this, based on the number of food people that we know, and between Taste Urban and between Chef Ashley, we know a lot of food people. Because we're putting caps on this, majority of the people are not going to be able to participate because somebody else already got in. Okay. So I say that to you guys to say that if this seems like something that you're interested in, I would lock in, get as much information about this stuff as possible, and go ahead and start putting things in order. And then again, we'll work out all the details when it gets to a little bit later. Okay. Last thing I want to say is stipend. So we understand that for the food people, that between Saturday night and Sunday night, you are going to have to put forth some monies for the food and stuff like that. We completely understand that. So with that, what we are going to do is offer a stipend for people before the event, so that you have some money about a week before the event, so that you have some monies to be able to make sure that you have everything in order as far as your food prep and all of that. With that, that stipend is going to be based on a percentage of how much your monies that are owed to you. So for instance, we're looking at doing to the very least $250 to each person, which obviously, you know, it is what it is. But this is going to be based on what you've already brought in. So if you've only brought in $50, then you're going to get $50. But if you actually brought in $500, something like that, then it'll get maxed out at that $250 that you would actually get before, again, about where our goals get a week before the event. And then you get the rest of your payout directly after the event. All right. So again, our goal is to make sure that you are successful with this. One thing that Chef Ashley said, which I want to make sure everybody understands, this is the Black Business Super Bowl. And what that means is there are going to be a lot of people there that have influence, that are in working with major companies, things of that nature. You want to participate and you want to be able to get your foods in their mouths so that they can actually see what it is that you do. And if they like it, they are going to purchase from you moving forward. Because we have such relationships with a lot of corporations, we get calls all the time for corporations to say, hey, listen, we want you to come to our company and provide our employees with this, this, and this. I'm gonna go ahead and give you all a heads up. Our title sponsor has given, which is Fiserv, has called us 3 times to come to their location for their vendors to set up on location and to sell their foods on location. And typically, Fiserv would give us money. I'm not saying they're going to do this in the future, but they've done this in the past, giving us money to the vendor, regardless if they sell anything or not. Hey, go ahead and give them this. We're going to buy a certain amount already, and then they can do whatever else. Say that to say is that this happens all the time, and especially with an event like this. This is why the tastings are so important. Yes, we do understand that everybody wants to sell. Sell is today. Tastings is for tomorrow. And we want to make sure that you have sustainability. So, real good. Anybody have any other questions?
Hello, this is Tisa. I have a mobile bartending business, but I also sell mixers.
Okay.
And I have a question. I know I see a lot of non-alcoholic, and I can
Yes.
do where I make my own mixers. So I don't mind doing a tasting for beverages just for the mixers. But
Okay.
would I be allowed to add a couple, like say Crown Apple, to my 4 ounces? Or would I
That's a
just
good-
have to sell only the mixers? I mean,
That's a good
sample
question.
only the mixers.
Thank you for that question. So currently, if you are not a liquor brand, then you would not be able to sample anything that has liquor in it, as far as
Okay.
a drink is concerned. Okay. So your mocktails, I guess they might be called.
Yeah, that's what they are.
That you can do all day long, but they
Okay.
could not have liquor in it. The venue is very particular about the liquor piece to it. And like, for instance, we're only allowed to use liquor from their distributor and yada, yada. So you would not be able to do that there.
Okay. Well, could I set up next to the liquor part?
That's not guaranteed, but we'll keep it in.
Okay, thank you for that.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Yeah, Corey, Chef Ashley, this is Kevin. Question, if you have multiple, like I have dessert business, but I do cakes, pies, and various things like that, I'd have to limit it to just one of those categories in order to not have a conflict with others, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yep, that's correct. And actually, Kevin, thank you for asking this. So we do one thing that is different from our expo across the board, and this is going to be important for those of you that have multiple products, okay? That the one thing that we do across the board for this expo is we have a two company product and service max. What does that mean? That once we get 2 people who do candles, we will not accept any more people who do candles. Now, why do we do that? Because one, when an event accepts multiples, you now have less variety at the event. You have variety on one product, but you have less variety as far as multiple different products, number one. And two, it does not make the attendee experience good. I've been to several events where I've seen 5 candle makers and they're sitting right next to each other, whatever case is. We are not doing that, okay? It then starts to be turned into a swap meet and all of that. Now, for people who they just do one thing, hey, I just do cookies and that's it. This is perfect for them. For a person who says, hey, I do cookies, but I also do pies. Now, this is going to be a little challenging because even though you are one company that has 2 products, for us, we have 1 product per company. So with that, you would just have to choose which product that you are bringing to the actual event that you're going to market, okay? Now, with that, is that going to, and I'm going to be straight honest, is that going to feel good to you? Probably not. But just know it is more important for you to be at the event with at least one thing than not be at the event with 2 or 3 things or whatever the case is, okay? You can have conversations with people. So let's get back to the cookies and pies. Hey, I do cookies and I do pies. Well, you'd have to choose. Okay, great. I'm going to do cookies. Great. You're at the cookies. But while they're there, you can tell people, hey, we do pies. We just wasn't able to bring them here because some other business does pies. Okay. So again, it's going to work for some people. It's not going to work for everybody. But as long as you look at the bigger picture to say, hey, I'm at the event and that's what it needs to be, regardless of what I have, then you will win. So thank you for that question, Kevin. Travana, I believe I'm hoping I'm saying that correctly.
Yes, how you doing?
Good. What's your question?
I wanted to know, what about wine?
Good question. So wine, when it comes to liquor, the venue can only, we can only do a tasting or samples of liquor that's come from their distributor. So currently they work with the large distributors such as Savannah, Empire, Crown, stuff like that. If your company is with one of those distributors, then yes, you can do samplings. If your company is not with their distributors, then you won't be able to do it at this event. But what I would suggest that you do is contact me and say, hey, I have a wine company. I am not with one of these distributors. How can I get with one of these distributors? And what we can do, we have a relationship with Savannah. We have a very good relationship with Savannah. And what we could do is put you in contact with Savannah, and you would have to go through their programs and stuff like that to get with them and whatever that entails. I don't know what that entails, but we can actually make the introduction.
Oh, wow, that's wonderful.
Okay. But very good question. Any other questions? Well, I'm going to do this. I want somebody to unmute themselves. And how is this landing with people? I want to hear some feedback. And I'm going to be courageous. If anybody is feeling this, they're like, yo, this is a great idea. I want to hear that. If anybody's like, yeah, I don't think this is going to work, I want to hear that too. Now, listen, if y'all don't unmute yourself, I'll call on somebody. Kevin, I was going to you, but Travana saved you. Go ahead, Travana.
My daughter asked it.
Okay, because I got in on the conversation a little late. So are you saying whatever products we had to bring a sample of it first?
What product do you have?
I don't know. It's multiple ones. I'm gonna narrow it down, but I'm like, okay, well, do you have to bring like if it's food, like do you have to bring a sample of it first?
So you're not selling at the event.
Okay.
You're just doing everybody, as far as food and drink is concerned, the whole event, you're doing samples.
Samples.
This is a tasting event for you. Okay.
Okay.
And thank you for asking, because again, there might be somebody who has a question on that. This is a tasting event for you. Okay.
Okay. I get it.
But you have the ability to make money through our revenue share program.
Right.
So that's where you're selling the ticket. So yes, so this is a tasting that you'd be able to make money at.
Okay, and when you say revenue share, are we selling tickets?
That's correct. They're virtual tickets. So all you're doing is promoting the event.
All right.
Okay? All you're doing, you're not going to be having to walk around, whatever. All you're doing is promoting the event.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
And that was just for the food and beverage.
That's what I think he's saying. That's for everything. You're not selling anything at the event. You basically getting your business out there, marketing, and stuff like that. So it's samples.
Yes. And this is only for food and beverage. Yes. So products and services they can sell, but the venue has requirements as far as food and beverage that they are the only ones that can sell food and beverage.
Oh, okay.
So that's why we're doing it this way.
So say if you got a product that's not food and beverage, are you able to participate in the sampling as well?
If you have a product that's not a food or service, then what would you sample?
Not a food or beverage.
I mean, not a food or beverage. I'm sorry.
Right. So like if you do shirts, you can sell shirts. If you do shoes, you can sell shoes.
We can sell everything except for food and beverage.
You can sell everything except food and beverage.
Yeah.
Right, but I'm saying you can still participate in it if you have a physical product like a shirt. You still can do the sampling part, the food and beverage part.
Well, no, the food. Yeah. Oh, okay. So what she's saying is, okay, if we're there to sell a product, can we also participate in the sampling, like with a different product?
I guess I'm not understanding what product would you be sampling if it's not food or beverage?
Okay, so if she has clothing, okay, like you say, t-shirts. She has t-shirts. She wants to sell those, but she also participate in. We have another product that's food, and she wants people to have samples of it.
Okay.
Or
so I understand what you're asking now. We do not do any sharing of tables.
Okay.
Okay. So if you come in at a category and let's say you sell shirts, at your table is only shirts. You cannot do shirts and cookies. Cannot do shirts and whatever.
So yeah, so
we're doing shirts. You can't even do shirts and candles. Like it's just shirts.
Okay.
Okay. If you wanted to do shirts and cookies, you'd have to have one shirt table and then one cookie table.
Okay.
Right.
So you can.
Okay.
Yeah, you can sell anything.
You can sell anything that's food and beverage. Okay.
Real good. We're going to be wrapping this up. And again, I know there's going to be more questions, but I want to make sure. Does anybody else have anything that they wanted to say before we wrap this up?
Quickly. So in terms of selling the tickets, how soon, once we make a decision that, hey, I think this is a good fit for me, how soon can I start selling tickets? Because of course, in my mind, the way my head works, I need as much time. I don't need 2 weeks. I need as much time as I possibly can to make as much money as I possibly can upfront. So I will promote because I'm going to be at several other events where I can also promote this upcoming event and sell those tickets. That's how my brain works. So I need to know,
I love that.
How soon can I start selling tickets?
How does next Wednesday sound to you?
Hey, let's do it. But let me get that recording so I can understand.
How does next Wednesday? So, and this is how we're going to end this call. Next Wednesday, and I'm going to put this in the email that I send you guys that has the recording. But next Wednesday, we are doing a launch event, so a launch party at this place called Perfect Note, which is next Wednesday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Okay. At that event, we are going to be, it's our launch party. So we're going to be partying and excited about the expo, blah, blah, blah. But that event is for people who are already our exhibitors to be able to get some more information. People who are not our exhibitors yet to get more information. And for other people who just either want to attend the event or whatever the case is, blah, 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 and all of that, okay? So it's open to everybody, okay? It's a free event, and we're going to be giving out information. Now, for our vendors that are signed up, we are going to go over the rebate program for you guys. It's not a rebate, it's a revenue share. We're going to talk about that at that event as well. And we're also going to give you, you're going to have, by next week, you will have an electronic version of a flyer that has your code. And at the event, I'm going to be giving you physical flyers that look like tickets, but they're not. But flyers where you can actually write your code on this and you can start passing those out as early as next week. Yolanda, I love that you said what you said, which because you're thinking about this right. Yo, let me start early so that I can make as much money as possible leading up. And I'm going to end with this. For the people who truly understand this opportunity, you should have gotten it when I said revenue share, okay? Honestly speaking, you should have gotten it then, because no other event that I know of, big or small, is going to do a revenue share with you unless you are putting in thousands of dollars to invest in there. Typically, that's called equity, right? We're doing it for a person to the very least at $100, and you can get revenue share. And what this means is that if you start early and you truly treat this like it's your event, my goal, this is my goal, and I know my goal might be different than other people's. Each of the food vendors should walk away with a minimum $2,000 plus. Let me say that again, a minimum of $2,000 plus from ticket sales based on the type of event that this is. A minimum of $2,000. That does not include all of the business that you are going to make. And I promise you, and I'm going to try not to get on my soapbox, but I'm feeling it because this is what businesses should be doing. I have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars with food vendors. Chef Ashley, you'll love this. I went to the Women's Black Expo last year, and there was a cookie vendor there that infused her cookie with apple pie. One of the best cookies I've ever had. If you ask me right now who that vendor is, I have absolutely no clue. Absolutely no clue. And I'm telling you guys about it, and that was a year ago. And I could actually find out who it is because I just so happened to know the organizer of the event. But even when I talked to the organizer, I'm like, yo, do you remember the cookie person that did this, whatever the case is? Versus that person, when I got there, spent money with them, and then they said, hey, listen, let me get your contact information so that we can add you to our monthly newsletter that we send out to give a monthly reminder of who we are and where you can purchase from, okay? And all of this stuff we go through with you when you sign up to be a vendor. We actually have a virtual training that we put you through, 2-hour training to go through stuff like this. But I'm gonna give it to y'all now because I'm feeling it. Had they done that, I would have spent more money with them and I would have invited them to more events and stuff like that, which would have increased their revenue. But because they were so focused on today money, that's what they got. They got today money and they did not get tomorrow money, which I need everybody who's listening to my voice to understand. Today money is smaller than tomorrow money. So for those people who want the smaller amount, just focus on today money, and this event is not for you. Let me be very clear about this. You're just focused on today money, this event is not for you. But if you are focused on long-term money, then this event is for you. You are going to get today money through the revenue share. But the long-term money is, I want you to be focused at the event on putting the food or drink in their mouth, or they taste it, they like it. You then start talking to them about how they can start using you throughout the year. That's long-term money. You can't have all those conversations if you're trying to sell to them. Okay, how much do you want? Okay, let me get this and package it up and leave. It's hard to do that. So I'm very excited actually that we've removed that sell piece for you guys at the event. So now all you're focused on is tastings and orders. Tastings and orders. All right. So again, I'm getting off my soapbox. Chef Ashley, this is how I get. You're just gonna have to get used to me. This is how I get. I want businesses to win. So with that, I want to make sure that you guys understand where the goalpost is, because there's so many businesses that's running in the wrong direction. And when we try to tell them, no, don't go that way, they don't listen, so they go out of business. Okay. So I say all that to say is we're going to go through all this stuff, and I'm going to go ahead and give y'all, let y'all know, next Wednesday, I'm going to be up on that stage acting a fool because I truly love our businesses, right? So with that being said, we are adjourned, okay? You guys are going to get the recording to this. So again, if those of you that just joined on right now, you are going to get the recording of this. I'm going to send this out as soon as this downloads. I'm going to send this to you guys. Watch the recording, number one, okay? Number two, and I'll put this in the email. Number two, what you will want to do is to let us know that if you say, yep, I'm in, then let us know that, okay? We are now also putting in place, and actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm so glad I had this idea. I'm gonna, we have a deposit. We have a deposit option, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to enable the deposit portion, okay? If you watch the recording or you know you want to participate and you want to lock in your space, then what you do is you pay the deposit. Deposit is only $75. You pay that, and now you are secure. Now, what that also means is that if for whatever reason you change or whatever, that's fine. You'll get your money back. We're not keeping your deposit, whatever. We want to make sure that, especially for those of you like Yolanda that are on right now, that you're like, yo, I want to take advantage of this. I'm going to send the email directly after this. In there, it's going to be this recording. It's going to be the information for next Wednesday. And it's also going to be the link for the deposit. You put your deposit in, that secures your space for either the just the vendor piece and or the competition piece. So you'll have the option to do so, okay? And obviously we're going to take first come, first serve with that, all right? Real good. Chef Ashley, do you have anything for the party people before we adjourn?
I think we're good. I'm looking forward to working with everyone. So if you are needing help getting any of those documents together or how do you get a business license, anything like that, you can email us and we can walk you through those processes. Insurance, same thing, connecting you with some business insurance. So that if you need help with any of those things, please let us know.
Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So last question, go ahead, Trevonna. You're on mute if you're talking. All right, we're gonna wrap it up.
Hear me?
Go ahead.
Okay. So as far as the business license, the safe serve and things like that, what if you have that from another state? Like a manager's safe serve license, because they said that's national, and your business license or whatever, like how would that work?
So as long as your business license is current, we will accept it. And then safe serve, same thing, as long as it's current, we'll accept it. So
Okay.
not expired, we're good.
Okay. Thank you.
Good question.
Thank you.
Real good.
Is it showing us that, your business is, at the, it's ready to do business with people so that you can connect people? Because a lot of these vendors are going to ask for that business insurance and they're going to ask for that business license. So.
Yep. So we want to make sure you guys are prepared. Real
Thank
good.
you much. Very
Wonderful.
Good.
Thank you guys. We truly appreciate you again taking the time to participate in this again. You guys will be getting this information here within the next hour. All right. Real good. All right. Everybody enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you. Bye-bye.